What is your American dream?
My American dream is basically, I don't want to be too wealthy. I don't really care. I just want to live an average life. I want to bring home some money to my parents because my parents are the ones who raised me. They gave me everything, they came from India here just so we could have a better life. So I just want them to have a good life and I want to be able to take care of them.
America is a really diverse place, rich in culture, and I hope it stays the same forever.
Live your life to the fullest and not having to worry about day-to-day problems that just keep on going on.
I don't have an American dream, but I do have a dream for America. It's just for equality and everybody to be in peace and everybody to treat others as they want to be treated.
My American dream is to become an NYPD and do well in future and make my parents proud.
My dream is already here. We own hotels, we own restaurants, what else you need there. I'm good, thanks to God.
I do have a dream, and that's the reason I left my family in India to get some good money so they can have a good life in India. I want my family to be here. I will live with them. Maybe God fulfill my dream or not, that I don't know, but I'm trying my best.
Free, liberal society where everybody respects everybody and has a life together, right? Has a society together. That's what American dream is for me.
Everybody live happily and culturally rich at the same time, exploring their dreams and getting them.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! I love you, tree. Oh! Hello, everyone! Groundhog Sam here. I'm just taking a little break from work, hanging out in one of my favorite trees. Remember, I'm a groundhog. I spend the majority of my time in trees. Imagine all the people. Yep, trees are really the best. Oh, speaking of the best, guess what time it is, Brad Squad? It's the time we have all been waiting for. It's time for Brad Show Live, starring Brad Bernstein, the best. Time for the show. I wonder if Brad would help me to make a treehouse up here. That could be something.
Welcome, everybody. It is Brad Show Live. It is Monday, July 17th. I am live on YouTube on Brad Show Live. I am live on Facebook on Brad Show Live. And I'm doing something very special today. I'm also live on Instagram on Brad Show Live. But Instagram is not seeing the show. Instagram is just seeing me do the show from my phone. It's kind of a little behind the scenes. And you don't go to Brad Show Live to see it. You go to Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram to see me do the show behind the scenes while the show is going on. So maybe like during the show on Instagram, for example, I just may turn around and show you what's going on my screen here. You can see people on hold. You can see the Facebook and YouTube thing. I just turned my phone around. They saw everything that I'm looking at right now. It's kind of cool. Behind the scenes, people are waving to me on Instagram. And let me say hello to everybody, the entire squad on Facebook and YouTube. They're watching the real show. Instagram is kind of behind the scenes show on at Real Brad Bernstein. Also, before I start saying hello to everybody, and I do want to say hello to everybody, I did start a new, thing, because Instagram started this thing, a subscription channel. And I thought about Instagram kept sending me, do a subscription channel. I'm thinking about, well, what would I do a subscription channel about? And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do for a very, very tiny fee, monthly fee. You can ask me all the questions you want, and I'll give you a personalized video answering all your immigration questions, because a lot of times people don't have the opportunity to get all their questions answered on YouTube and Facebook and even on TikTok. So this will be a way that you can kind of guarantee that I will answer your question, and all you got to do is subscribe at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram. In the meantime, let me say hello to the entire squad. Who do we got here? We got Pepe Samuel, squad up. How are you? Latoya, his Forever Peterson, squad up, everybody. Jewel Delph, how are you? Squad up. And of course, you can call Bradshaw Live right now, 1-800-529-5465. If you call 1-800-529-5465 from the United States of America, from North America, we do have open lines. In about 15, 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be answering your immigration questions live. Just call 1-800-529-5465. It's also the telephone number to call to schedule a consultation with me in my office. Also, 1-800-529-5465. Dion Reed, squad up. Jessica Leamy, squad up to you and my loves. And calling me, it's Kellyanne. I can't even read anymore. Kellyanne Optimistic. I like that name. I thought it was another call me type of name, but no, it's Kellyanne. I just can't. I don't have my glasses on. I can't read such small sometimes. Kellyanne Optimistic Sybil, squad up. And King Darius with a pre-schmooze question of the day. And the pre-schmooze question of the day is, can I file for a green card if I was granted deferral of removal under CAT years ago? The answer is yes. You could always file for a green card, but in order to get to the green card process, you would have to reopen your removal case, because CAT is Convention Against Torture. You went through the removal case, and the immigration judge did not give you asylum, did not give you withholding or removal, but gave you Convention Against Torture, which is a rule that says that the government's never going to send you to another country to get killed or maimed by somebody in another country. So you showed that your life was in danger by going home, and that's the end of your deportation case. So now maybe you're married to a U.S. citizen, for example. You can file an I-130 visa petition, get that approved, but that doesn't give you a green card. That just says you're eligible for a green card, and you got to reopen your removal hearing, make a motion to reopen, show the judge that you're eligible for your green card, and then hopefully then adjust. So the answer is yes, with, I can't make an asterisk, with an asterisk, but asterisk in parentheses. Sky, squad up, how are you? I said Dion Reed, she got it twice. Clark, blessings, Brad team. And Javelle Finnegan, squad up family. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I certainly had a nice weekend. I hope everyone did as well. And Sasha Robinson, squad up. Toya Solomon, squad up. Nikisha, Ninny, God Pickney Jacob, squad up. Cynthia, squad up. How are you? I said Sasha Robinson already. And I said Myrtle Ray. Shakira Young, squad up to you as well. And Babita, squad up to you as well. All right, I can't say hello to everybody, but we said hello to many, many people. And we're going to now get into something we like to call Schmoozing with Brad. Let's do it. So the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced on July 12th that it is expanding the My Progress program. It's formerly known as the Personalized Processing Times to form I-765 application for employment authorization, the I-131 application for a travel document. So what does My Progress do? My Progress provides applicants with access in their online account to personalized estimates of their wait time for major milestones on their cases, including their final case decision. Now, while estimates are based on historical patterns of cases with similar specifics, they are not a guarantee of speed, cannot take into consideration all possible unique application processing delays, and may over or underestimate the true processing time. It is an estimate. In addition to Form I-765 and Form I-131, the My Progress is available for applicants with USCIS online accounts who file for their citizenship, their application for naturalization, their Form I-90, which is their application to renew their green card and the I-130 visa petition. To view estimated case timelines, applicants must first create a USCIS online account or log into their already existing account. And there is great news for international students. The U.S. is expanding who is eligible to work in the United States in a job related to their studies. The Department of Homeland Security announced on July 12th that it would add 8 new fields of study to the STEM Optional Practical Training Program. Optional Practical Training allows students on an F1 visa to gain practical work experience in their area of study, either during or following the completion of their degree. Typically, the program allows students to work for 12 months, but students who have earned a degree in certain STEM fields can apply for a 24-month extension of their optional practical training. Now, in January 2022, the Biden administration expanded eligibility for science, technology, engineering, math, optional practical training, adding 22 qualifying fields of study. The Department of Homeland Security has since received nominations for an additional 120 fields of study to be added to the list, of which they chose a total of 8. So these are the 8 fields of study that have been added to the STEM designated degree program list. Landscape architects, institutional research, mechatronics, robotics, and automation engineering technology, composite materials technology, linguistics and computer science, developmental and adolescent psychology, geospatial intelligence and demography, and population studies. And over 111,700 Venezuelan immigrants in the United States were granted relief from temporary protected status in 2021. Last year, that status was extended for those who qualified and will expire on March 10th, 2024. But in a letter addressed to President Biden on July 6th, Legal Aid Society's Immigration Law Unit, along with other advocates and organizations, noted that relief is still needed for those who arrived from Venezuela after March 9th, 2021. The number of immigrants from Venezuela arriving in the United States has more than doubled since 2021. Data from U.S. Customs and Border Protection shows that in the U.S.-Mexico border alone, 48,600 Venezuelans were encountered in 2021. Advocates and immigration law experts have said it's important to expand TPS coverage for Venezuelan immigrants who arrived after that date, March 9th, 2021, because while they await their asylum case proceedings, TPS will give them immediate protection. Now, a lot of existing legal providers who are representing asylum seekers in immigration court are at capacity right now. One attorney alone may need to invest hundreds of hours to adequately handle comprehensive legal representation of an individual in immigration court. But don't worry, our office can handle it. Deborah Lee, an attorney in Chicago at the Legal Aid Society's Immigration Law Unit, documented that the application for temporary protected status in comparison could be relatively straightforward. Lee said, I think that instead of viewing it simply as we're pro-immigrant or anti-immigrant or whatever the perspective is, if people can also think about, well, okay, how can people contribute? How can they get work permits? They're here already. Let them work. All right. And according to a June 28th report by the Migration Policy Institute, state governments across the United States on both sides of the political aisle are acting on immigration. At the vanguard of this activism are, of course, Florida and Texas, which have enacted laws this year intended to discourage the presence of unauthorized immigrants. And we've talked about that a lot. But these new restrictions are only one side of the coin. In contrast, Minnesota, Utah, and other states have provided various rights and protections to unauthorized immigrants and recipients of quasi-legal status under the temporary protected status and deferred action for childhood arrival programs, which offer work authorization and protection from deportation. And these state expansions include access to driver's licenses, public benefits, professional certificates. As we have discussed 2 weeks before announcing his presidential campaign in May, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a far-reaching law restricting the rights and mobility of unauthorized immigrants. And this law comes as Florida receives a disproportionate share of migrants entering through the United States-Mexico border. Now, following a special legislative session called by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, Texas has also enacted 6 laws in June focused on immigration and border security. Among those aspects, these laws include deputizing U.S. Border Patrol agents who can arrest people suspecting of violating state law, authorizing the governor to share border security intelligence and resources, allowing the Texas National Guard to use drones for monitoring the border, creating a training program for local law enforcement agents, designating Mexican drug cartels and gangs as foreign terrorist organizations, allocating funds to compensate farmers for property damage from border smuggling. And on Friday, July 7th, Governor Greg Abbott announced that Texas is installing its marine barrier installation as part of its efforts to stop illegal immigration across the U.S.-Mexico border. However, with all that bad news, recent months have also seen new laws expanding the rights and benefits of unauthorized immigrants in other states. As part of a major push following Democratic takeover of its legislature this year, Minnesota created new college tuition support for all students in low-income families, regardless of immigration status. Lawmakers also made all residents eligible for driver's licenses, regardless of status. And Rhode Island and Massachusetts enacted similar policies. 19 states and Washington, D.C. now offer such licenses. And on July 1st, the Minnesota legislature passed a new law that reduces the maximum sentence for a gross misdemeanor from 1 year to 364 days. That one day could be a difference between an immigrant in Minnesota paying a fine and serving a short jail sentence and getting deported as an aggravated felony. Because if you are sentenced to 1 year in prison or more in most theft, fraud, or assault cases, you're getting deported as an aggravated felon. So now Minnesota changed the maximum sentence to 364 days. So all of those convictions would be crimes of moral turpitude. Voters in Arizona last year approved a similar proposition offering in-state tuition at public colleges and universities. This year, Maryland decided to offer healthcare, occupational licenses to qualified unauthorized immigrants. Tennessee began allowing thousands of immigrants in quasi-legal status to obtain professional licenses. New Mexico passed a law this year increasing the age at which migrant children who have experienced parental abuse, abandonment, or neglect can apply for a special immigrant juvenile status from the age of 18 to 21. And California is in the process of expanding state-funded public health insurance for all immigrants ineligible for federal public insurance. So what we have here is a big dichotomy. Republican states making it more difficult for immigrants, Democratic states making it easier for them, and no federal government really doing anything because Congress and the president can't seem to get together to make any decisions on immigration. And here's some good news from immigration, at least some fun news from immigration. Arnel Pineda is the current lead singer of the band Journey. You know, don't stop believing. No. You know the song. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. All right, I'm not going to sing. But Pineda took on the role of lead singer in 2007 of the band Journey, taking over for Steve Perry. And Arnel Pineda, he immigrated to the United States from Manila. So he told the story in an article called The True Story of Arnel Pineda's Visa Journey. And he describes his experience in getting the visa he needed to audition with the band from the viewpoint of the consular officer in Manila, Philippines, who approved Pineda's visa. The officer wrote, "Months ago, a band shows up at my window. It was lemons and oranges or something fruity. And at the end of the interview, they were saying, 'Come out and see our show tonight.' And I said, 'I can't take any free tickets, yada, 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 but maybe I'll pop in anyway.' And it was a Friday, and I went with two friends, and we got a table, and the opening band comes on, and they were called Zoo. And this, I'm not sure of what the full name was, but I remember it was Zoo because I'm from Kalamazoo, so the name stuck. And the Zoo started rocking out 70s and 80s tunes from the U.S. American pop tunes, but the coup de grace was indisputably when they busted out Journey. I mean, the singer was not just good, the officer wrote. 95% of all Filipinos are good singers. He was darn good. I couldn't shut up about it. I was telling everybody who would listen, this singer was amazing, singing Journey." So the next week, I'm sitting at a non-immigrant visa window next to an officer named Singer. And Singer and I were doing F visas, which are student visas, M visas, which are training visas, J visas, training visas. And so we would kind of trade off our regular non-immigrant visa applicants occasionally so that we got fair share of student visas and training visas. We kind of mixed it up. So I hear Singer say, Journey, the band Journey, and he flips through papers. He sounds very unhappy, and I butt in. What's this all about? He turns on his mic, looks over at me, says, I don't know. This guy says he's going to try out for the band Journey. So I'm puzzled. Journey, the band Journey, Singer goes. That's what I just said, Journey. Great, another nut job. I figured to myself, I'll take it. So Singer takes my student, I take the nut job, and I look over his stuff and I say, the purpose of travel and all that. And I start to scrutinize more carefully and realize it's the guy I saw from the night before. I say, hey, does your band play at the Baga Verde in Manila? The officer continued writing. He confirmed it, and he goes on to tell me the story of how he uploaded some clips of his band that he recorded to YouTube and contacted Journey's manager, having heard they were looking for a new singer. And he says they called him up and invited him to the United States to try out. And given the malarkey you get at the Manila non-immigrant visa window, this story only got points for being completely original. So he produced some flimsy emails and letters, etc. So I go in, my best dubious voice, yeah, let's hear Wheels in the Sky. And he belts it out for the whole waiting room and for the staff to hear. And I made sure to take off my headset and let the speaker play it because what I was really doing was covering my butt. And I said, look, sir, there isn't a person in this embassy who would believe that story going to try out for Journey. Not a soul would believe that, except for me, because I saw you sing last Friday and couldn't shut up about how your vocals were perfect, Steve Perry. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you that visa, and you're going to try out, and you're going to make it. And the rest is rock history, my friends. So here's a short story. It sounded like a fake narrative to get to the U.S., except that the consul officer recognized Pineda for seeing him perform and had already been blown away by his ability to sing like Steve Perry from Journey. And it really goes to show that sometimes luck plays a bigger role than anything else in getting non-immigrant visas. And that is 100% truth. You know, a lot of it is law, and a lot of it also is luck. And that is our schmooze for the day. And we're going to get into our meat and potatoes right now, which is where I answer all your immigration questions. But first, like many people, Spackle Bernstein client Letitia left her country to pursue a better life for herself and her children in America. And Letitia arrived in the United States as a green card holder, but left her children behind because they were too old to accompany her. And Letitia knew, however, that one day she would get her children to join her here. And without her children in the U.S., Letitia worked tirelessly to get on her feet and set up a life for herself. And even though being apart from her children for years filled Letitia with stress and emotional anguish, she held on to the hope that one day they would be together again. The journey to reunification is complex, but Letitia never stopped trusting Spackle Bernstein. Within 3 years of Spackle Bernstein taking on her children's cases, Letitia's dream became a reality, and all her children legally joined her in the United States. She spoke to Spackle Bernstein recently. Let's watch.
All of us are done through Mr. Bernstein. It started from my mom right up to the siblings. So we are so grateful for Mr. Bernstein. The ins and outs takes us almost 3 years.
And now you're with your children?
Yes, I'm with them.
How does it feel to be with your kids now?
Oh, it's joyful, joyful. So I'm heading on to the next phase now. Thank you, Mr. Bernstein.
So when you're looking for an immigration lawyer, remember this, to choose attorneys who will care for you and your family and make sure that no stone is left unturned in your case. Send us a private message or call us today at 1-800-529-5465 or internationally +1 212-227-3636 to start your family's reunification. Today, Letitia is all smiles thanks to Spackle Bernstein because she's finally reunited with her children. We look forward to hearing from her. All right, Jilly, are we ready for answering immigration questions? The meat and potatoes? Let's do it. All right. right, we have Mike from Chicago. Mike, how are you?
Hey, hi, Brad. How are you?
Good, good. What's happening? How can I help you?
Yeah, I have one few questions. First of all, thank you for taking my call.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, so I'm married to U.S. citizen, right? And I filed I-130 and I-485, and it's been like 2 years. My I-130 is approved like 4 months ago, and I have I-485. They asked me medical exam, right? So I submitted my medical. It's been like more than 3 months now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. Like, what can I do? Like, I'm still waiting. Like, my case is outside normal processing time, and they asked me for I-485, I-693 for medical. So I submitted. So I'm not hearing back anything from them.
How long?
So
How long? How long? How long has your I-45 been pending?
We filed it almost 2 years.
And who's sponsoring you again? I missed that first part.
Yeah, my spouse.
Your spouse. And you went on no interview yet?
No, we had an interview. So interview is completed.
When was the interview? When was the interview?
Oh, interview ago, like almost 1 year ago.
Okay. And tell me what happened at the interview. Did they question the bona fides of your marriage? What happened at the interview?
Yeah, they asked about all the questions, and they did a stroke interview also.
Okay. And do you have children with your spouse?
Yeah, 2.
Okay. Well, you have a bona fide marriage. You have 2 children with your spouse. I wasn't part of that interview, but if your adjustment's been pending now for 2 years, the Immigration Service has to make a decision on your case. And when they make no decision, that's the same as denying you because you don't have a green card. So if they keep your case pending forever, that's as good as a denial because you don't have a green card in your hand. So the law says they have to make a decision within a reasonable amount of time. Why do they have to make a decision within a reasonable amount of time? Because you are considered an immediate relative. Immediate relative is immediately eligible for a green card. And you're not waiting 2 years. Nobody would ever say waiting 2 years for a green card and 1 year after an interview is immediate. So they have something in the law called a mandamus. And what a mandamus is, it's a lawsuit against the federal government to force them to make a decision. Usually you think of suing the government, you say, I want money. You know, government's going to pay me money. You're not suing them for money. You're suing them for a green card. So you're going into a federal court and you're saying to a federal judge, say, Judge, my rights are being violated because I have a right to a decision on my adjustment of status case and they haven't done it. Now, generally, when you go into federal court and you hire a lawyer to go do it, it's big money. So what we do for our clients is we do something called a pre-litigation mandamus, where we put the entire litigation package together and we send it to the head of the Immigration Service in the U.S. Attorney's Office. And we say, hey, we are prepared to go to court. We don't want to go to court. I assume you don't want to go to court too, but we're prepared because here's the whole litigation package. You can have 2 choices. You can either make a decision on this case in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or we'll see you in court. And usually we get a call and say, wait. I would say 95% of the time or more. Don't do anything. Give us a month. We'll make a decision. And so we found that works a lot. And in this particular case, I think you're going to need to do that because waiting 2 years is unreasonable. You have 2 children with your wife. Unless there's something in your background that I'm not aware of, you're entitled to your green card. So hold on 1 second, okay? Let's go to Abdul in Charlotte, North Carolina. Abdul.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good. What's going on?
Thank you for taking my call. I came to the U.S. in 2016 as an international student, F1.
Right.
And then I applied for asylum, and then it did not go well. So in 2020, I was referred to
a judge
in immigration court.
Right.
And I was, I was put in removal proceedings, and then in 2022, I got married.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife, she filed the I-130 and I-485, and then we requested prosecutorial discretion, and then we had the case dismissed, and then
dismissed or terminated?
Yeah,
terminated.
Yeah, dismissed. The judge, it states that the judge ordered the case to be dismissed.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the term is terminated, but continue.
Yeah, the case is terminated now, and then I applied for an advance parole, which has been recently approved. And then I would like to travel, go to a third country by using my home country's passport.
Right.
And I'm wondering, how will that? Is it like a possibility that I should explore, or would you advise against
No,
it?
absolutely. As long as your case was terminated and you're not, what country did you apply for asylum?
Oh, Guinea.
Guinea. You can go to 300 countries, just don't go to Guinea, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And you can use your Guinea passport, and you can return to the United States with it. My advice also is not to stay out for longer than 4 or 5 weeks at a time.
Okay, just for 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3-4 weeks, fine. And that's fine.
Okay.
As long as your removal case has been terminated, absolutely 100% safe.
Yeah, I was just confused with the language behind the word dismiss, because usually I see terminated, and in my case the judge state the case has been dismissed. So which means
if you want to have a consultation with me just for me to be 100% certain that your case is terminated, I'm happy to do that. But based on what you told me, you're safe to travel.
Yeah, okay. Sounds great. And then I have another question for you. The I-130 has been pending for 14 months. Do you think that I should file for mandamus?
No.
Or is it too early?
Too early, at the 2-year mark.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
All right. That's all for me. Thank you.
Good luck. Let's go to Rachel in Burlington, New York. Rachel. Oh, Burlington, Kentucky.
Hey.
Rachel.
Yeah, Burlington, Kentucky. Hi, Brad.
I called you a New Yorker, but you're from Kentucky. Sorry.
That's okay. No big deal. So I found out about your show through YouTube, and I have a question I need answered. So I figured you could help.
Go ahead.
So my fiance, kind of a thing where we've run out of time, but I'm asking this question just in case there's still time. My fiance actually is on an H-2B program that ends at the end of the month, meaning he'd be sent back. But we had a baby, July 4th. Thank you very much. So now he's kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave you guys.
Right.
And talking about marriage before he goes back, but wants to know if that's even possible to get married and actually move forward with the paperwork, or do we not have enough time, including will he still have his 10-day grace period?
Okay. Couple questions. You're a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
And you're free to marry.
And he's from Jamaica.
Right. You're free to marry. He's free to marry, I assume. Everybody's free to marry. Nobody has prior husbands or wives that need to be divorced.
No, I've been divorced for 5 years.
Okay.
He's never been married.
Okay. Go get married. You have plenty of time to get married. I don't know what the waiting time in Kentucky is, but in New York, it's 24 hours. So you buy a license and 24 hours later, you can get married. And 24 hours after that, you can file an adjustment application. And if you file the adjustment application, your fiance, who will then be your husband, will be in legal status. And he may not get a work permit for 4, 5, 6 months, but it's no big deal. I mean, in the scheme of life, he gets to stay here with you. And he'll get his green card in the United States of America. And between me, you, and anyone else who's listening, if he works undocumented, he'll still get his green card.
Right. Okay. And then one last part to that. How much time do we have? Because we actually already have our license. It's good for 30 days.
Great.
So that's been done for a couple weeks now. So I was wondering, how long do we actually have to get that paperwork in? Because his visa ends at the end of the month.
Well, if you want him to be in legal status every day, just have it, make sure it's filed by the end of the month before his visa expires.
Okay.
If you don't care if he's in status or out of status for an extra week or two, because they'll still accept his application. even if he's undocumented, and he'll still get his green card. But if you're concerned about him being undocumented even for a week or two, then just make sure you can get married. You can get married tomorrow. You have the license. Go get married, and you can file. It takes a week to put the paperwork together. It's no big deal. And if 3 days, let's say, I'm just making this up. Let's say it's August 30th is his last day, and the application gets filed September 7th. Nobody's coming to deport him between August 30th and September 7th. You'll file the paperwork. It'll still be accepted. He'll still get his work permit and green card.
Okay, yeah, because I do have to have a joint sponsor, so that would still be okay?
Yep.
Okay, and then
my strongest advice is stay here. Let him stay here and get married, because if he goes back to Jamaica, he's not going to see his kid, and he's not going to see you for at least 2 years or longer.
Right, because he was wanting to know, can he just come back on the H-2B program and marry me then?
He can, but the best thing to do is do it right now.
Marry before he goes back. That's what we thought. Okay.
Marry before you go back. And then he's not going back. He's going to stay here and adjust.
Right, exactly, which is what we've been researching. Thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate it.
Let's go to Neil in Brooklyn. Neil.
Hi, good evening, Brad.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I just have 3 quick questions. I got married on September of 2019.
Right.
And I got my conditional green card on September 21st of 2020. So I was asking if it's okay for me to go ahead and file my citizenship now.
You got your green card September 2020?
Yes. Got married in 2019 to a U.S. citizen.
You got a 2-year card in September 2020.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, correct.
It was a 2-year card. So in September 2022, you filed an application to remove the conditions, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you and your wife together? You're still living together? Everything's good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're at the 90-day mark now before your 3-year anniversary. Okay. As long as you are in a bona fide marriage with your spouse, you can put in your citizenship today. Now, bona fide marriage means you live with her every day.
Yes, sir.
On occasion, you live with her every day, and you have a financial relationship. You have a bank account, and you pay your bills together. It's a bona fide marriage.
Yes.
And then
we also have a daughter.
Perfect. So you have no problem.
And we're expecting twins. We're expecting twins now.
That's a handful. You got one in each hand. So the answer is file your naturalization, and at your naturalization interview, they will interview you for the I-751 and the citizenship together.
Oh, okay. So question, does my wife have to accompany me to that interview?
Yes.
Okay. And they're going to use all the evidence submitted with the I-751 form, right?
Most evidence is 2 twins.
Okay.
Pretty good evidence. It's a real marriage.
Okay. And last question, what's the cost now in 2023 to file?
For a filing fee is $725.
$725.
Yeah. And they say the filing fee is going up very soon. I just don't know what day.
Well, I'm going to do it ASAP. I might do it this week.
All right.
Is there an online process, or it's better to send in the physical documents in a package?
Whatever you feel better doing. It's either way.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Clalea in West Haven, Connecticut. Clalea. Going once in West Haven, Connecticut. Clalea going twice in West Haven, Connecticut. And Clalea is sleeping. Let's go to the next one. Michelle in Baltimore, Maryland. Michelle.
Yes. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just a quick question here. If a person is here for 7 years, but they're, not married, they overstayed, don't get into trouble, what's the best way for them to get a green card or a work permit?
Well, there's 5 ways to get a green card. I don't know what the best way is for any one particular person unless I had a consultation with them, because I can't solve problems in a 1-minute live call with hundreds of people listening. But the 5 basic ways to get a green card is family, including marriage, employment, investment, asylum, refugee. I'll give you 6 ways. Visa lottery, if you qualify, or some sort of you're the victim of abuse or the victim of a crime. That's it.
Oh.
So there's no other 7th or 8th or 9th way. So hold on, and you can have a consultation with me. We'll figure out your life. Hold on. Let's go to Ryan in New York. Ryan.
Hi. How are you, Brad? Brad, I just had a question. So I'm currently on a TN1 visa from Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen. I have family, 2 kids, so they are on TDs because they're dependent. Now, what's the best way to get a green card?
On a TN?
Yes.
What type of work do you do?
Vice president for a bank, IT.
Okay. So you can perhaps do a job sponsorship, a perm. That would probably be the fastest way to do it. Whether or not you qualify for a national interest waiver, I don't know. Depends on, IT sometimes can be a national interest waiver if you are doing something, regarding maybe security with a bank, or I don't know. We would have to get into the nitty-gritty of what you do. Because if you could do a national interest waiver, you would shave probably 9-12 months of waiting. If not, you would do a perm application, prove you're not taking a job away from an American worker. But that's the way to do it. Now, the problem with doing a perm is that you only get 1 year, incrementally 1 year on a TN visa. And if you're not eligible to adjust your status yet, you may have a problem renewing your TN because TN is non-immigrant intent, and filing a perm shows your immigrant intent. So that's why a lot of people like to do the national interest waiver, because then usually you don't run into that problem unless it becomes a huge visa backlog. But we would need to have a consultation with you to figure it out. But the short answer is you're going to get sponsored in a job.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you very much. You have yourself a great day.
My pleasure. All right. Let's go to Lisa in Brooklyn. Lisa.
Hi, good evening. Hello?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, good evening. 2 questions. I'm here undocumented. I came here 2021 September. So my parents recently got their F3 visa. I would like to know how long do I have to wait until they would be able to file for me?
Are you single?
Yes.
Okay, so F3 meaning they just got here with their green cards. They got sponsored by
my dad, mom.
Right, by a grandparent. They can file for you immediately as long as you're unmarried. You'll wait you're over 21, I assume. You'll wait like 6-7 years. Have to do a provisional waiver.
Okay.
They can start immediately. Today. If they enter the day they enter the US with the F3, they can start.
Oh, so as soon as they enter, they can start the process.
Correct.
Dude, in the case that they're just coming up, would they need somebody else, a co-sponsor on the application?
No, because the affidavits of support won't be requested for 5, 6, 7 years. You'll worry about it then.
Okay.
The only thing you have to show is that they're your parents and they entered with an F3 immigrant visa.
Okay, I was on the application, on the petition, but I aged out. Would that help in any way?
When did the petition start?
In 2007, April.
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
Okay. Second question. I have a 7-year-old. Her dad is not involved in no way in her life. He wasn't around at the time of her birth or anything like that. Is there any way I can have a green card for her?
Yes. It's called the special immigrant juvenile petition. And what you would do is you would go to family court. When I say you would go with an attorney. You wouldn't do this by yourself. But I'm just saying, we would do it for you. You would go family court and get legal guardianship of your child, even though you're already her legal guardian, but you have it official. And as part of the legal guardianship process, you prove to the family court judge that it's not in your child's best interest to return back to her country. Where's she from? Jamaica?
Guyana.
Guyana, excuse me. I took a guess. I was wrong. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm
It's okay.
it's not in her best interest to return to Guyana, because if she returned to Guyana, this little cute girl will be on the streets with no one to take care of her because her father abandoned her.
Okay.
And if you show abandonment by one biological parent and there's nowhere for this child to live back home, then the judge would give you legal guardianship, one, and more importantly, number two, give a special ruling that it's in your child's best interest not to return to Guyana. When you get that under federal law, if you get that in a family court proceeding under federal law, your child is considered an abandoned child for immigration purposes, even though you're still her guardian and living with you. And she can file on her own for a special immigrant juvenile for her to get her green card. And, you know, in Brooklyn, guardianship is less than 6 months. And then you do it in Brooklyn, she would have a green card for 2 months. The caveat to all of this is if she gets her green card as a special immigrant juvenile, she would never be able to sponsor you. So you'll have to figure out another way. But at least
That's okay.
But at least your daughter will be taken care of.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
And if you need help, hold on. Let's go to Kevin in Atlanta, Georgia. Kevin.
Hi, Brad. How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I have a couple of questions for you. So I'm a permanent resident. I got my green card through VAWA. And, you know, thankfully, I've been able to move on, and I got remarried to somebody else. But she is an F1 student. She's going for a master's. She already got a bachelor degree. My question is, if we're trying to save on money for school because it's not really needed for her to go to school, so if she's only going to school to maintain her status, if we file for adjustment of status, when we send in the documents, can she stop going to school at that time, or does she have to continue going to school until we get the interview and then she get the green card?
You're a citizen or a resident, you said?
I'm a green card. I'm a resident.
What is your American dream?
My American dream is...
Sorry about that.
Hello?
Yeah, we're back now. She has to be in legal status up until the time that immigration accepts her application and sends you the receipt notice. Once you get the receipt notices, she doesn't have to go to school anymore because she's pending adjustment of status. She cannot legally work, however, until she gets a work permit. It's different than marrying a U.S. citizen, because when you marry a U.S. citizen, you can work undocumented and still get a green card. But married to a resident, she can't otherwise violate her visa status. So the answer is let her stay in school, file the adjustment, get the receipt notice, let her finish out her semester, and then she doesn't have to go back for the next semester.
Okay. And right now is the visa current for
adjustment of status for the month of July? It is. I don't know about August.
Okay, so it's current, so we can file all the forms at the same time.
File it right now, yes.
Okay, and is the fee still the same, right? It's not went up yet, so it's still like this
1,760.
Okay, and you gotta break in 3 different checks for like the I-130, I-45, and biometric.
Correct. You got it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Good luck. All right, let's go to Tracy in Atlanta. Tracy.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, Tracy?
I'm good, thank you. So I have one question. I'm just trying to understand this question. So it says on the form I-485, because I'm applying for, I'm supposed to send my document, but there's a question that I don't really understand and I don't want to make a mistake. So it says, are you subject to the public charge? What is public charge?
That means that you can't support yourself and the family member who's supporting you can't support yourself. The answer, if you write yes, you're going to get denied. So the answer is no, and that's why you're getting an affidavit of support.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was my question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go back to Clalaya in West Haven, Connecticut. Clalaya.
Yes. Hello. Good night.
Good night. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm just calling to ask a few little questions.
Sure.
I am married. Like this month is gonna be like 9 months, but my husband is a green card holder. But in told me that when we get married, he was gonna put him in to get his citizenship. But it seems like he's not making any move. So I would like to know what can I do?
Well, you can't force the man to become a citizen. I assume you're out of status. So why? You got to have a talk with him. Why is he not doing this to help you?
I asked him, and when I asked him, he said to me that what kind of mission I am on.
What kind of mission you want?
What kind of mission?
Mission? I'm on a mission to get a green card and live a good life with you. That's my mission.
That's what I said to him, but it seems like I don't know what's going on.
What does he think? He thinks that you're going to leave him after you get your green card?
I don't know. That's why I come.
Well, you can tell him, listen, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't become a citizen, I'm definitely going to leave you because I need to get a green card. You know, I love you, but I need, you got to love me back. Love's a two-way street, not a one-way street. So maybe you need to go speak to somebody with him. But this is more of a love issue than it is a legal issue. I mean, the guy's got to want to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So I would suggest speak to somebody, talk to a counselor or something. Get him, figure out what's going on. Or maybe he's scared to, sometimes I see, you know, sometimes it has nothing to do with you. He's scared to file a citizenship. Maybe he doesn't know how to read. I don't know.
Yeah, but if somebody cares, but why would you make him married and then I'm going to be stuck? This makes no sense.
Some people have ulterior motives. Some people are cruel. Some people have no empathy. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the man. But you can't, unless there's abuse in the relationship, there's nothing you can do. Either he's going to become a citizen or you move on with life. All right? He doesn't want to help you. What do you need to be there for?
And I cannot file for spouse abusers.
Well, if he's abusive, yes, but failing to become a citizen is not spouse abuse. There has to be a lot more than that.
Yeah, but on one occasion, I have a little, what they call it now, a little camera, you know, something in the house that, you know, we always watch, but it seems like he didn't remember and he bring a woman in the house.
All right, so he's cheating on you too.
Right.
All right, so what you may
and
want to do, okay. Also, cheating in of itself is not abuse, that's cheating. But it could be a bigger part of a bigger pattern. So what I would suggest is let's have an offline consultation and figure out your life. Okay, maybe there is emotional abuse. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Let's go to Camlin in Maryland. Camlin.
Hello to
Hi, Camlin.
Camlin.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Good evening, sir. Yeah, good. How you doing, sir?
What's going on?
Yeah. I got a quick question for you, please, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I live in the U.S. For 8 years now, and I get married in 2021, like December 2021, and my wife filed for me since May 2022.
Right.
So it's been like almost a year now. My I-485 is still pending. So there's anything that you can do for me?
Well, we've talked about this on the show earlier. If you're pending more than 2 years, you would want to think about a pre-litigation mandamus, which is a threat to sue the government. So I can certainly help you. When we do these pre-litigation mandamuses on people's cases pending more than 2 years, we usually get some results for them. So hold on one second. If you go back and watch one of the earlier questions, I went through what a pre-litigation mandamus is. We're not going to re-answer the question again, but certainly I can help you. Hold on one second. Let's go to Sue in Lauderdale, Florida. Sue. Sue.
Hello.
Hi, Sue.
Hello, good evening. I have some questions here. For instance, I'm filing for my daughter. I became a citizen in 2022 of October, but my question is the paper is at the NVC. I was wondering if there's a way the process can expedite because she's going through some stuff right now back home with her dad. So I was just wondering, what can I do? What step can I do if there's a
How old is she?
speed up the process?
How old is she?
She's 12. She's
And
12, and I start fast.
You're a citizen or a resident?
Yes, I am a citizen.
So
22 October.
if she's having extreme living conditions, I don't know what you mean by going on with the father, because that could mean a lot. But if she's living under extreme, if she's living under extreme living conditions, we can certainly request an expedite. We would have to show it was extreme. But you can request an expedite. All right, hold on one second. All right. Let's go to Stephen in Chicago. Stephen. Stephen. Stephen going once. Oh, twice and three times. Anastasia in Jacksonville, Florida. Anastasia. Anastasia.
Hello. Good
Hi,
evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so I have a question, brother. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, I got a 10-year green card through employment. I'm a nurse here in America. I want to file for my mom and sister. However, I have to wait until I become a citizen. So I'll be doing 3 years, February 2024. So next year, February is going to be my third year in America.
Yeah,
so I know.
But if you got your green card through employment, you got to wait 5 years to become a citizen.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying I still have to wait until I become a citizen to file for them.
Correct.
However, I have a little problem because my mom and my sister, they do have a visa. However, if I put in a petition for them to stay in Jamaica, my sister won't have, to apply for them to, what do I say? Stay in Jamaica while I apply for them.
How old is your sister?
My sister, she's going to be 16 in January, and she doesn't have anyone at all to take care of her.
All right.
It's just she and my mom.
All right. So I think there's things we can do to help. But I think we have this discussion off the air. We'll help you with your sister and your mother. All right. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. But we'll help. All right. Let's see if we can get back to Stephen. Stephen.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Stephen.
Okay. Yeah. So I have a few questions. So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit of the backstory. I married my husband last year. And I was living with him in my home country where he filed for I-130. We wanted to do the consular processing. Now we visited the U.S. and his family. And basically what happened is he assaulted me multiple times while visiting. And now I live with my aunt. And I wanted to ask if
you can file an abuse case.
Yes, I wanted to ask if I can do that.
Absolutely.
Because I've entered. Yeah, because I have entered through ESTA visa waiver.
It's still okay. You're still an abused spouse, and you were coming here to visit, and your spouse became abusive, and you had to run away. You're with your aunt, and nobody has a right to be abusive to their spouse. It's domestic violence. Whether you're in a traditional marriage, same-sex marriage, it doesn't really matter. Domestic violence. Nobody has a right to hit anybody. Yeah. And you're entitled. And if you're abused, you're entitled to a green card. Period. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. So I can help you. Hold on 1 second, okay? All right. So that is our meat and potatoes for July 17th, 2021. Remember, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always call me at 1-800-529-5465. You're watching on Instagram. You could also subscribe to my channel. Get your immigration questions guaranteed to be answered, because not everyone got their immigration questions answered on my show, that's for sure. And you can be guaranteed to get your immigration questions answered by subscribing at Real Brad Bernstein. All right. So, by the way, you can also follow me on TikTok. You can also follow me subscribe on YouTube. And you can also subscribe on Twitter and Facebook to follow all of our social media platforms. Right now, before we get into our social media check-in, I want to throw back to our personal injury department. Spar and Bernstein does handle personal injury claims as well as immigration cases. And today we're going to talk about medical malpractice cases. And I'm going to explain who can be held responsible for medical malpractice, when someone should file a medical malpractice claim, and what negligence by omission is. The parties that can be held accountable for medical malpractice include, but are not limited to, doctors, specialists such as gynecologists, cardiologists, and neurologists, surgeons, nurses, pharmacists, hospitals, medical facilities, nursing homes. Depending on the details of the case, more than one party may be held liable. An experienced medical malpractice attorney will look into your case and choose the best grounds to pursue maximum compensation for your injury. You must file a medical malpractice claim within 2.5 years of the malpractice. Exceptions extend to situations where you were not aware of the healthcare provider's error. In this case, the rule of discovery applies, extending the deadline to file a medical malpractice claim as follows. For a foreign object in the body, within 1 year after the discovery. For failure to diagnose cancer, within 2.5 years after the discovery, but not more than 7 years after the misdiagnosis. If you do not file your claim before the statute of limitation expires, you lose the opportunity to seek compensation. Negligence by omission occurs when a condition worsens because you are not treated in a timely and appropriate manner. If you were injured by a medical professional, a knowledgeable medical malpractice attorney will investigate the details of your injury and provide recommendations on next steps. At Spar and Bernstein, we offer a free initial consultation to research your case and provide legal advice to determine your options. All right, so we are back. And by the way, sometimes even medical professionals do make mistakes. Save our number, 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK in case you or someone you love has suffered from medical malpractice in New York. And if you do want to watch behind the scenes, I will be sharing the behind the scenes video of me doing Bradshaw Live on Instagram on our subscription page at Real Brad Bernstein right after the show is over. But right now we got to get to social media check-in. Let's do it. All right. So before we do social media check-in, I do have some VIP questions from our VIP Brad Squad Facebook page. Jessica Leamy says, how can you change your case from consular processing to adjustment of status? The I-130 is already approved. You write the National Visa Center, let them know that you're going to adjust your status, transfer the case back to USCIS, and then file your adjustment application. Marjorie Doofus, if someone is traveling to the USA on an ESTA from England, how can they change their status to become a resident of the United States if their mom is a USA resident? They can't, because assuming they're over 21 years old, they're going to wait at least 7-8 years for visa availability. So you cannot adjust your status on an ESTA over the age of 21 if your mom's a U.S. citizen. Nitu asks, I was charged with grand larceny after the exculpatory evidence. The DA agreed to dismiss the original charge and gave me a plea to a Class A misdemeanor, unauthorized computer use, and a violation. I did 15 days of community service. The misdemeanor plea was vacated and the violation was sealed. What are the documents I need to carry with me for reentry? I wouldn't travel because I don't know what state this happened in, and I don't know understand what you pled guilty to, other than it was some sort of misdemeanor. And I don't know whether you are admissible or not until I review your disposition. So the answer is don't travel. Call me for a consultation. Ola Adams, how likely is an I-45 to be approved after Noid and a request for an I-601? Well, an I-601 is for a waiver because you were found inadmissible. So it depends on how good of an I-601 waiver you did. And I don't know if you did a good one or a bad one. Who handled it for you? Liti, can you tell me who's qualified for special immigrant juvenile status? Yes. Child under the age of 21 who someone gets legal guardianship of a child under the age of 21 and gets a special ruling that child should not return to their home country because of the abandonment, the abuse, or the neglect by one of the biological parents. And those are our 5 social media VIP questions of the day. We got a bunch more VIP questions, but we will get to those VIP questions next week. We do the first 5 for the show. Of course, you can always subscribe to me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein, and that is where you are guaranteed to get an answer. And the answer you get is a video of me giving you the answer. So you get a real video of me answering your question. All right, let's do social media check-in. I think we're doing it already. Kalyan Optimistic Sybil asks, good afternoon, squad. I filed for my son in Jamaica in 2021 as an LPR. His process was documentarily completed last October and is waiting to be scheduled for an interview. I'm yet to hear anything since April 3rd after notification saying that they're still waiting. I became a citizen in March this year. Can you advise me how much longer to wait? Well, National Visa Center doesn't know you're a citizen. Take a photocopy of your naturalization, send it to the National Visa Center, and ask them to upgrade the case. And hopefully, if it's in Jamaica and you've been documentarily qualified, it's taking about 1 year from date of documentary qualification if you are a U.S. citizen. Let's see. Oh, wow. Big, long questions. Nick, squat up. Question. Is there a pathway to get a green card through work by applying for EB3 with an employer sponsorship and file for adjustment of status via I-140 while having a pending asylum status? I already have received EAD. I currently have DT status. I've been inspected by CBP. I'm now in removal proceedings and master hearing data set. You cannot adjust your status once you're in removal hearing, unfortunately, through employment. If you entered the United States on a visa, applied for asylum while in legal status, and had not been put in removal yet, the answer would be yes. But since you're in removal, the answer, unfortunately, is no. Karen Whitaker, hi, Brad. What if you file for VAWA with an adjustment of status and you got a work permit but didn't get a prima facie letter? Is there a problem? And if you have a child under the age of 21, do they qualify? Your child under 21 does qualify. Well, it's not good news that you didn't get a prima facie, but it doesn't mean it's bad news. It's just not good news. Well, if you got prima facie, that means that you can get government benefits. And 2, if you got prima facie, that means you've met the minimum thresholds of proving it was a bona fide marriage, proving there was abuse, and proving you have good moral character. So you didn't prove one of those 3 points to at least a minimum satisfactory level. So expect an RFE for a lot of evidence, and I would suggest getting a good attorney, getting ready for that RFE. But just because you didn't get a prima facie doesn't mean you're not going to get approved, but you need to turn things around starting now. That would be my best answer to you. Very long questions today. Javelle Finnegan, all you see is my forehead on this one. How would you know if your father has a children on filing at the time that he was being filed for by his wife and all the kids are over 21 at the time, but he's living in the U.S., but the kids want to know if they're on the filing for the first son went to the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica a few years ago, was denied. The person said at the interview that he needs to contact his father. It's called a Freedom of Information Act request. As long as the father is willing to sign papers, then you would get copies of those records. Kingston, good day. I'm living in the USA for over 5 years. I got my green card last September. When can I file for citizenship? You got your green card in September 2022. So that means July, August, sometime in July 2027, you can file for your citizenship. Another long question. Lori wrote it. I lived with my father's parents after he migrated to the USA when I was 5 years old. My father filed for me as a married child. I recently did the interview and was told I need to provide ongoing relationship. I went ahead and did a DNA as my old school documents and baptism certificate. I could locate. The DNA came back negative. I'm so heartbroken as he's the only dad I know and we're so close. The case is not closed. Can something be done? If you're over 21, we need to figure out another way, but I'm sorry that happened. Can I apply for I-121 moral turpitude? I don't know what that means. Joyce Henry. Hi, Brad. Okay. Is it a concern after submitting evidence going on 5 months without a response? No. Immigration sometimes takes a long time. Lori, you're going to need a consultation. And that is our social media check-in for the day. I'm not able to pull up the social media from YouTube today, so I apologize to those on YouTube leaving questions. Having some technical difficulties getting those YouTube questions up for social media, but so unfortunately I won't be able to answer it, but save your questions for next week, or you could always call me to have a consultation with me, or you can go on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein and subscribe, leave your question there, and I'll give you a video. All right, so where are we at now? We are at Rashwan. Rashwan Abdelbaki is an award-winning Syrian visual artist who came to the United States in January 2017 through a fellowship with the Institute of International Education's Artist Protection Fund, arriving in America just 1 week before the Trump administration's travel ban was put into effect. Rashwan and I spoke about his immigration journey to the United States and what life is like in Syria. Let's watch. Rashwan Abdelbaki is an award-winning Syrian visual artist who has been based in the New York area since January 2017, arriving in America just 1 week before the Trump administration's travel ban was put into effect. Rashwan joins me to discuss his experience immigrating to the United States of America, his home country of Syria, and how his identity as a Syrian artist based in America is reflected in his work. Thank you very much for joining me, Rashwan. I really appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be with you.
My pleasure. So let's get right into it. You are Syrian, and
Yes.
you arrived 1 week before, let's call it what it is, the Muslim travel ban. It is what it is. I don't care what anybody says. Does it make you feel like you're lucky? Do you feel guilty that others were left behind?
To be honest, I didn't understand the travel ban in the beginning. It just, for me, it's just like a decision from the government. And it's against 7 countries, including my country. So I didn't understand the impact from the travel ban exactly. But the foundation, the Institute of International Education Artist Protection Fund, the people who offer me this fellowship and brought me to New York, of course, in the beginning to the American Academy in Rome, and after that to New York, they asked me to come to New York before the travel ban. And when I arrived, I start hear from people living in New York how much horrible that travel ban against me and other country. Actually, I felt the impact from the travel ban after a couple months when my lawyer asked me to now time to change the visa. In that time, I had J1 visa and I have to change the visa. And he suggests you have 2 choices, or asylum file, and I said no. And he said the other choice is the O1 visa. If we get the O1 visa for you, you have 2 problems. First, you can't work other job. You will work as an artist. So this is what you can do: make shows, sell work. and you are not able to leave the country, like even to Canada. So in that time, I start feel the bad impact from such a racist and stupid decision, actually.
So did you change to an O1 visa?
I did.
Do you have a green card now?
Now I have a green card under the category people with extraordinary ability.
One, right. How did the process of you being an artist in Syria translate into I have a visa to come to America?
I didn't plan for it, like, or think about it. I just applied for a fellowship. So I was one of the other first 7 to get this visa. And Alison, the art director, called me and she said, Rashwan, your fellowship is going to start from the American Academy in Rome for 4 months. And after that, you will come to New York to follow up your fellowship. So, I mean, the feeling was fantastic. I'm coming to New York. You know what I mean?
How did reality of being in New York as an artist differ from what your thoughts would be?
It's a mix from everything. People like me, we will see New York in the movie, which is not the same in reality. But still, like, there's the soul of New York. Like, it's fantastic. Like, all the time I have this feeling about New York. Like, I feel like, oh my God, I'm in New York. You know what I mean? So
were you in Damascus originally?
My work was in Damascus, yeah.
What was it like on a day-to-day basis living in Syria, in a country that's been at war for?
Syria in general, it's a peaceful country, you know, and it's cheap. Many people, they will came to visit several times. The country was in music and theater and light everywhere. And in 1 year flipped, everything became like upside down, violent, and no security. You are afraid from everywhere, you know, like, because you don't know if you are coming back alive.
Was there ever a time when you felt, I may not live tomorrow?
One time I was in Damascus and this bomb just fell down in the next street while I'm taking my car, and I remember the sound, and I'm talking about the middle of the city. So I just remember the sound, because when this bomb come close from the sky, just you will hear this tiny sound, and you have second to move, but that doesn't mean maybe you will save your life if you move.
You don't know where to move to. You don't know where the bomb's going to go.
Exactly.
Do you feel like living during a time of war that there's some sort of trauma that you still carry with you, or do you feel guilty that you're here and you've left others behind in a dangerous situation?
Actually, yes, a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I still have a friend and I still have family there. I feel guilty sometimes that I'm not with them, but in the same time, it's a future. I owe that for my life and my art. And that's why I left.
You were able to apply somewhere and get a visa to come to America. How did you know from this small town in southern Syria what to do?
I didn't. That's why I was lucky.
The fellowship found you?
Yeah, it was fully grant for 1 year.
Why do you think of all the extraordinarily talented artists in the world, they found you?
I think just I'm lucky. But even if you are extraordinary, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you will get rejected. So I don't know why. It's hard to get the visa.
Were you able to sell art in Syria during the war?
Actually, in Syria, it's hard because the country, it's more to produce art than selling. But yeah, there is a few galleries they were able to sell some work.
People are going to find this maybe surprising. You know, you come from Syria. They had a Muslim ban.
Yeah.
You're not Muslim.
I'm not.
What are you?
My family are Druze. Druze it's one of the minority in Syria. We are less than 1% percentage in the population in Syria. Usually Druze, they located in mountain. It's a kind of in their history to live in the mountain, and because they are few, so in this way, maybe they protect themselves and somehow they have different practice. They believe in God. We believe in all the prophets, in Muhammad and Jesus. It's separate religion. Yeah.
Did you have friends who were Muslims?
Oh, many. Many. Yeah.
So not every Muslim was against every Druze.
This is a joke. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's what you see in the news.
Yeah. This is the stereotype. There is 1 billion Muslim in the world. If there is 1 million tourists, that means 0.0001% of all these people like they're radical or whatever. This is not a problem. It's just that, like, like it's just joke. Islam is not like this. And I have many Muslim friends. My best friend now live in Spain and he's Muslim. Let me explain it, how these people find a way. First, many of them, they take advantage on poor people and they offer them money because they don't have money, and that's how they recruit them, or use them. They make them be afraid. If you didn't do that, we will kill you or kill your family. So it's a joke to make a story about a whole religion just for radical group, and you can see this radical in every religion.
What do you need to put Syria back together? There's a lot of countries involved. There's a lot of militias involved. Everybody's got a little part of there. There's like a lot of different groups there. How do you put it all together?
It's complicated, but I mean, if you will ask me what's the solution, leave Syria alone and they will find a way.
Turkey's in there, Russia's in there, US is in there, Israel is part, Lebanon, Hamas is in Syria, everybody's in Syria.
Many countries involved in the Syrian story. And once they leave it alone, I think they will find a way. Let the Syrian decide what they want. If you are able to help them, so help them. Stop thinking about your benefit and think about the Syrian.
Well, Rashwan Abdelbaki, thank you very much. Congratulations. Quite a journey from Syria to
Thank you for having
the green card. Congratulations on obtaining your lawful residence, and congratulations on an amazing career that just flourishing and continuing. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right. So next week, Rashwan will tell us more about his art and his message to other immigrants navigating the United States immigration system. All right, we're ready for the last part of the show. That's the speed round, where I answer 10 immigration questions in 50 seconds or get blown up. Let's do it. All right. You ready to do it? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Go. Can I enter the U.S. on a visa, then apply for asylum? Yes, within 1 year. What is the F1 visa category? That's unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. Is it possible to get a B1 visa if the petitioner just has a work permit? No. I don't even know what that means. How long does it take to get a K1 visa? Over a year. How long does it take to get the I-45 after VAWA is approved? About a year. Can a U.S. citizen with a felony, not child abuse, adjust their spouse's status? Absolutely. Can I add my grandchildren to my adult children's petitions if they're under 21? Can someone remarry their ex and refile for them? Yes, you're allowed to fall in love, fall out of love, and fall back in love. Can someone who's out of status serve in the U.S. Army? No, they got to have a green card. Is it advisable to file for the N-400 while I-751 is pending? Yes, if you have an approved I-751, you'll get an approved N-400. We did it. Extra, can a U.S. citizen file an I-130 for their spouse using their single last name? No, you got to give your full name. But I did it anyway. I did 11 in probably 50 seconds. Give me some balloons.
Yeah, balloons.
Balloons. Right, yeah, yep. Jill's joining the show now. Balloons. We're going to get it, she said. There it is. No music. Lucky I got balloons, though. Better than nothing. There we go. And I got music as well. Finally. A little celebration here. I read the questions very fast. That's what did it. Sometimes I don't read the questions fast enough. Thank you. All right. Comments of the day. Comments of the day. Let's do it. All right. First comment of the day comes from Tay Solomon. I look forward to Bradshaw Live every Monday. So exciting. Thank you very much, Tay. Second comment of the day comes from Sasha Robinson. Oh, beautiful story about Letitia's immigration success story. I have to get my final paths going. Third comment of the day comes from Romeo Sawyers. Hi, Brad. I pray that God continues to bless you and your hardworking staff. You guys have helped a lot. Love you all. Thank you. And lastly, comment of the day comes from Dion Reed. Squad, help me share and broadcast that Brad is the man. No care how your case appears to be impossible. Thank you very much, Dion. Oh, continuing. Get a consultation with the real big man, and so he will turn your case into a big reality. So, squad, just share, and don't stop sharing. Thank you, Dion. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. I appreciate everything you say and do. And, yeah, I agree with you completely. All right. Well, that comes to the end of our show. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back here a week from today, same time, same place. Have a great week, safe week, enjoyable week. Keep a smile on your face. Goes a long way. See you all next week. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK, 1-800-529-5465.